So, the Superman movie that is coming out looks fairly interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, really, I'm honestly quite surprised by what I've seen so far. It looks intriguing, uh, in all honesty. And there's a new trailer that's out, and everyone's talking about it at the moment. And frankly, I'm more interested than I once was. I can't say that it's going to be my favorite movie ever. I don't think so, anyway. In fact, I wasn't really interested in it at all at first. Now, though, I can say, if nothing else, that it looks very comic accurate. And if you're looking for that, you'll find possibly nothing better. Um, so, like, to the spirit of the original comics, especially those of like the 80s and 90s, and hell, maybe even earlier, it seems like the Superman movie is looking about as accurate as it can get, really. Superman as a character is one who I have come to adore, really. The Man of Steel, the world's greatest hero, but his stories themselves are a little crazy, and especially like in the older days, you have like robots and a super dog and wacky villains like Brainiac and Metallo and so on, which, like I said, they're all a little bonkers and harebrained and kind of science fictiony, like compared to obviously the slightly more serious villains of Batman, right? Then again, the Condiment King does exist and is an actual supervillain designed by actual humans who thought it was a good idea to have Batman fight a guy who shoots ketchup and mustard. Um, so I guess not all of Batman's villains are particularly grimdark and serious. I actually have a video explaining why I think the Joker has been taken in too dark a direction, but I digress. Um, there are plenty of people who really love Superman's mythology and his characters. There are some very I'm I'm sure there's someone out there who likes even the Condiment King, and who think that superheroes, especially ones like Superman, should have a little bit more wacky, light-hearted adventures that nevertheless can and probably do have a lot of depth to them. In fact, I think in terms of like an overall, like, overarching collective universe, that's not really a bad idea to have Superman take on the mantle of a more light-hearted do-gooder role. And I certainly don't think he should be going around, say, snapping the neck of General Zod. Um, uh, but like, really, Superman should probably be the more light-hearted, good-natured protagonist. Where while Batman is stuck in Gotham, right, as the darker, more serious setting, and the very bleak, horrible nightmare city that it is, right? Where Batman stands as the only guardian against the madness and sadness around him, right? I mean, he should be able to crack a smile and comfort a crying child, for instance. Um, but he's also, willing to much more willing to fight the bad guys first and to diffuse the situation with violence and take on these very horrible, despicable people head on. Whereas Superman could be more a defender of the people, a diplomat, a bit more reactionary. He could very well be talking people off the ledge, so to speak. Um, and I could see this Superman, the Superman of this trailer, um, I could see him being very close to that in a lot of ways. He seems very interested in doing the right thing, and while he's not interested in following the rules, at least judging by the way the interview in the most recent trailer went, uh, he definitely seems more interested in protecting the people than say defeating the bad guys, because there is a bit of a difference there, and we could see a bit of that. And if we're being totally honest, judging by the new trailer alone, it looks like there's going to be quite a lot of characters in this, and a lot of weird characters. I know a lot of fans are wondering how one movie is going to be able to fit all of these bonkers side characters, which is a fair point and a reasonable concern. Um, but I feel obligated to remind everyone that this is a James Gunn movie. He's directing this, and if he has one skill, it is that he can take a whole bunch of nobody superheroes who no one really likes or knows about on a large scale, and supervillains as well for that matter, and he can make a really cool, good movie out of all those nobody characters. He did it with Guardians of the Galaxy, and he did it with the Suicide Squad, right? With Peacemaker and Bloodsport and Ratcatcher, and and all. And I think he can do it now. I'm sure with the lady with the spikes and the big sentinel looking guy, and is Mr. Terrific, is that his name? And yeah, all those. Also, this movie has Nathan Fillion in it as playing as a Green Lantern, Guy Gardner Green Lantern, which is just which is just spectacular. And I'm very looking forward to that, if nothing else. So yeah, I for one think that it's going to be a good, fun movie. If absolutely nothing else, right? That it might very well be the single most traditionally Superman movie that we've had in a very, very long time, possibly since Christopher Reeve, um, for goodness sake. Uh, and and there's even this amazing scene in the trailer for this new movie where Superman, he goes from Clark Kent talking to Lois to Superman using his voice, which is it's something quite special, and I'm not sure if that's just the actor or if possibly they used some sort of filter, but he actually sounded like a different person, which is very impressive, and I kind of came up for air when I heard that. That was very clever the way they did that. It's wild. So yeah, um, I have high hopes. I doubt it's going to be the greatest movie ever made, but I don't think it needs to be. Um, so yeah, like and subscribe if you want to hear me talk about more nerdy stuff in general, or if you're interested in like writing and such, I also do that. My fantasy novel has entered the very final stages of publishing, publication, and it's like a matter of days at this point, maybe a week or two at the absolute most. Um, so yeah, you can have that to look forward to as well. So yeah, until next time, bye.